Good morning, UNF. You're watching The Early Bird, brought to you by Spinnaker TV, live from the Student Union. I'm Josh Brannick.
And I'm Ashley Pinkett. This morning, we're talking about celebrity news and campus events.
And later, we will have a special, very special guest in our studio.
It's all right here, right now, on The Early Bird.
Now, with the Olympics over, NBC now has time to unveil its newly revamped late-night schedule, and Monday featured the first showing of new late-night host Seth Meyers. Meyers debuted as host of the late-night show was ratings gold Monday night. Meyers' first show topped previous host Jimmy Fallon's debut by more than 500,000 viewers. Meyers averaged 3.4 million viewers, and the debut episode was the highest-rated Monday night late show episode since 2005.
It's hard to believe that many more people watch that show over Jimmy Fallon's
True,
show.
but I feel as though Seth Meyers has a little bit more of a following. Jimmy Fallon did definitely brought back a lot of the attention to that late night show.
Yeah.
So I'm going to guess that it had a little bit to do with Jimmy Fallon as well, but also Seth Meyers just having done so many years on Saturday Night Live, having
and he
done
kind of
so
had
many
this,
years
like,
as the weekend
style.
update.
Yeah.
So he had so many guests last night. I mean, as you saw in the picture there, he had Amy Poehler was there. He just had a bunch of different guests. So
I'm watching it on Hulu later, so don't spoil it for
It'll
me.
definitely be something interesting to watch. It kind of seems like NBC right now with Fallon and Meyers kind of has a nice, decent stronghold on the ratings for the late night shows.
It's going to take a lot to compete with that because those are very awesome.
So Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon definitely is an interesting ratings competition to watch. So
I agree with you. Tonight, Osprey Productions will be presenting Gravity, the Oscar-nominated film about a woman who gets disconnected from her spacecraft and is floating in space. Free food and drinks will be provided, and there will be a showing at 7 and another at 9:45.
And of course, free food and drinks, so I knew Ashley was going to be there.
I will be there. People say popcorn is not dinner, but it totally is.
When you have 3 or 4 popcorns like she does, it's definitely dinner.
I'm not supposed to tell people that I have 3 or 4. I only have 1. That's it.
She has a problem. We're getting her help. So.
Stop it.
All right, guys. Now, with beards coming back into style, it's hard for some men to be at the top of the fashion trends because they lack the ability to grow a nice, full beard like this one. Coming in patchy or just light and all over the place isn't going to score any dates. So in an attempt to keep up with the Joneses, men are getting beard implants. According to a story from DNAinfo.com, Dr. Yael Halas has been seeing more men from Brooklyn's hipster-filled neighborhoods coming in and getting beard transplants. Halas says he gets a beard transplant appointment about once a month from men in Brooklyn and 3 per week in his offices in Miami and Manhattan. Now, he's been doing this for about 13 years now, and he said that it's starting to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Like, I get it, because my sister lives in Brooklyn, so whenever I visit her, there's beards everywhere. Like, if you don't have a beard, it's weird. You stand out.
Yeah.
But it's still so strange to just have, like, when people go bald on their head, how they have implants now on their face. It's just really strange.
And just to let everybody know, this is not implanted. This is definitely.
I think I see some patches. Maybe you should.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Fixed.
I don't know what you're talking about. This bad boy's grown in full.
Okay.
I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it.
Game of Thrones may need to say goodbye to a beloved cast member. Peter Dinklage is reportedly in talks to play the lead in a new HBO show, strangely enough also adapted from a series of sci-fi fantasy novels. This will mean that Tyrion Lannister may not be on the show anymore.
Peter Dinklage, an amazing actor. He's definitely one of the reasons why I try to catch the show as often as I can.
He's amazing.
So Peter Dinklage.
I mean, I don't know how the show's gonna fare without him because that was what got me to actually watch the show was his character.
I think that there's enough followers now and just enough of a storyline that they can keep going with it and not have a problem with it and all that stuff.
But what are they gonna do with his storyline?
I don't know. Maybe they'll transfer it over to the new show.
It's like, that's it. It's a whole separate part.
Game of not thrones or something. I don't know. Who knows? But all right, guys.
Something like that.
All right, guys. You know what time it is. It is time for our trivia question of the day.
That's right. What is the only animal that cannot jump?
Well, I have a 3-inch vert, but that technically counts as jumping. But we will have the correct answer right after the break.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Well, welcome back to the Early Bird Live from the Student Union. I'm Josh Brannick. Now, before the break, we asked you if you knew which animal is the only animal that can't jump. Well, the answer is easy. It's an elephant. Well, now, the elephant that we have here comes from a book, and it is from our special guest, Eileen Erickson. Hi, Eileen. How are you doing this morning?
How are you, Josh?
I'm doing excellent. I've been flipping through these books, and I absolutely love them. The illustrations are great and all that stuff. So you're on campus today, and you're going to be at Market Days today, correct?
I am, yes.
Okay.
Today and on April 9th.
And April 9th, got you. And we've got a few of your books in today.
Mm-hmm.
So first we'll go ahead and start off just real quick. What made you decide to start, what got you into the writing hobby, I should say?
Writing, okay. I started to write The Patience of a Saint, a nurse's story, because I was encouraged by a lot of my friends who I would tell stories about some of the patients I met along the way. And they said, write them down, write them down, write them down. And one day I just did. And then I took a course here at UNF with a Tom Bird, who helped me perfect it and actually published it. And kind of to my surprise, it did pretty well. And I signed it, Barnes & Noble, and a couple of the big places. And one thing, Barnes & Noble does not allow an author, at least little authors like me, after 2 years of the same book. So something to remember if any of you want to write. The children's books came on because the first incident happened when my grandson, up in Nathaniel's room, the book, when he was born, we were so happy that he was born because her first child was stillborn. So when Nathan came along, and that's what he wants to be called now, Nathan, we just wrote this cute little story about up in Nathaniel's room, because everybody kept going up there and bringing him stuff, and my daughter kept saying, no more, and we kept doing it. And so at the end, in the little book, he can't get in his room anymore.
He can't get his
So,
room. There's too much stuff. They brought too much stuff. And now
so
he goes
I thought
by.
that was kind of cool, and that started selling with Camille's Birthday Circus. And so as each grandchild came about, I wrote a story about him.
Okay,
So
got you.
that's how it
And you
started.
said, and now up in Nathan's book, or Nathaniel's room, like, I don't know what to call him. So it kind of seems like he got a little stubborn. He wants to be Nathan now, and he also wanted to have his own drawings in the back of the book, correct?
Exactly. So we do leave a blank page in the back. I said, if you do your drawing in the back of the book, you need to let a child draw in the back of the book too, what's in their room. And that actually was approached by PBS for a workshop for parents.
So this one, that's the back.
Nathan's.
That's his, and then you go,
At
and then the last page is a blank page.
Right.
So you can let.
And
the
then I
kids
give
do that.
out crayons to the children that get the book. I even give them out to the kids who don't.
Got you. Okay, so now going to something that maybe the college audience might appreciate more, The Patience of a Saint. So that's when you were a nurse, and we were talking before the show. One of the people that you talked to was Christopher Reeve, most famous
Exactly.
for being Superman. He had, his tragic spinal injury and all that. And you kind of, when we were saying that was somewhat of a, not say a life-changing moment, but something that was very humbling, correct?
It was. I start with myself as the patient because that's why I became a nurse. And then as I went from a CNA to an LPN to an RN, and then to out of bedside nursing for a particular reason at the end. And now I do telephonic nursing for the state.
Gotcha.
We got a chance to be in audience with Christopher, and I was real skeptical. I thought, you know what, sure, he's got all this money, and he can take time to do these kind of events. And when he talked, he was so humbling. He talked about his experience on a kind of a gurney in the airport, and he said he felt like Hannibal Lecter. He was just so funny, and we went to laugh, and then we were afraid to laugh, and he said, it's okay to laugh.
Got you.
And it really it touched us, yeah. But he was very interesting to meet, and I did ask him a question about his children, and the interview's in the back. So.
You said that the last patient in the book, it was your husband?
My husband.
Is your husband, okay.
I was still working, and we were married. We were married 49 years going on. And
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. I hear that's a big deal.
Yeah, I hope I can get to 49 years.
And he had a traumatic injury. He fell 16 feet. And he survived. They did call him Humpty Dumpty because they had to put him together again, you know. And we had some really good rehab doctors that took care of him. And so I wrote about that experience and another personal incident that occurred during that time.
Gotcha.
So it's a book really about me, but goes through the eyes of my patients.
Gotcha. And now, your most recent book is When Colin Says Go. That's about your...
That's about my youngest grandson,
Okay.
Colin, who loves cars. He graduated from this little push car to actually one of those automatic cars.
The electric
He's only
ones, and now
4, and he drives like a speed demon in his little yard. You know, he's very safe. And he just loves that car. He loves red. He loves cars, and he loves red. So.
Now, speaking of the children's books, all of the illustrations are done by Laura?
Laura Lombardo was the main illustrator for most of the inside work.
Okay.
The outside covers were done by Marge Townsend with the help of some of them being with Laura.
Okay.
Laura can collaborate very well with illustrators. And most of them she did herself. When we got to Connor's first safari, she was graduating from a high school in Cape Cod.
Okay.
She actually came to UNF and did the special needs program for children. And Laura's amazing. Now she has her own bakery, Seagull Bakery, and her cakes and pies are delicious.
Gotcha.
Too delicious.
They're too delicious.
But she's still illustrating, and she still comes in signs occasionally with me.
Gotcha. Now, Eileen, we're running out a little bit out of time here. We're running short. You're going to be doing a few signings, correct, in the next few weeks. The first
Right.
one is March 1st, and there's one March 16th, correct?
March 1st will be up at Jack's Beach from 10, I think, till 2 or 3.
Okay.
They start with a run, and the benefits the Salzbacher
Gotcha.
Center. And then the one March 16th is at the Metro Park, and that's going to benefit the Children's Home Society.
Gotcha. And if you're ever at the zoo,
And today,
you can,
of course.
Yeah, and of course today she'll be here. If you're ever at the zoo, Connor's First Safari is at the Jacksonville Zoo.
It is,
You can go ahead and
yes.
pick up a copy of that. And do you have a website? Is there any other way
I
aside
do.
from
It's grandbabybooks.com.
grandbabybooks.com?
All together.
All together. Got it. All right. Well, we would love to keep you here for our last little bit of a segment. It's called our Vine of the Day. It's a little bit of a funny video, a little bit of a viral video. I hope you enjoy. Guys, let's go ahead and roll that Vine for me and Eileen. Let's go ahead and check it out. I don't think he's going anywhere, do
It's
you?
like a polar bear
It's
club.
like a polar bear. Eileen, would you ever do that? I don't,
I
the
can't
technique
even
looks
swim.
right.
I'm the only one in the family. All the grands swim, I can't.
The grandkids swim, Eileen
Yeah,
can't
they all
swim.
do.
It's all right, no judging here. So, Eileen, once again, thank you very much for
Thank
joining us
you.
today. Make sure to go ahead and check out Eileen here later on today at Market Days. I know it's not supposed to be the greatest weather, but as you can tell, she's a very interesting lady and
I'll be
one of my
back
favorite
April
people I've
the
met
9th.
so far. Well, again, thank you very much for joining us, Eileen. And thanks for tuning in to the Early Bird on Spinnaker Television. Remember to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/UNF Earlybird. And while you're online and on the social media pages, check us out on Twitter at UNF Earlybird. If you're watching on Spinnaker Television, make sure to stay tuned because Spinnaker News with the Patrick Lloyd is coming up next. Have a great rest of the day. Remember, we're going to be here, same place, same time. See you.